Bonjour, bienvenue à la classe de français. Welcome to French class. It says at the bottom of this, aujourd'hui, c'est le jour 18. That means this is our 18th day of French class in French 1. Pretty exciting. And it says here, bonjour, préparation pour l'examen. So examen means test in French. It's not as big a deal as an exam in English, right? But it's a similar word. And bonjour, as you know, means hello. So we're going to be getting ready for our test, which is on Thursday. And the reason we don't have a lot of time to prepare for it is you've been preparing for it all semester so far, and you are definitely ready to take it. So let's take a look. Today, instead of having a video lesson, we're going to use the video to help us practice for tomorrow's test. So these exercises you can use in a couple of ways. You can practice out loud. You can repeat the phrases that you hear. You can say phrases that you need to translate out loud. That's really helpful for your screen, for your flip grid, for that spoken part of the test when you're reading your essay. And then the other thing you can do is write down some of the answers to practice the spelling and the vocabulary. And honestly, I recommend that you do a little bit of both. Practice writing out your 3 little paragraphs and also practice saying them. And this that we're going to do now should help with that. We're basically just going to review the vocabulary we need. You can also use these, like I just said, you can use them to listen to how I say the words and repeat them after me. The best way to improve your speaking and your pronunciation is repetition, is to repeat what you hear. If you repeat what you hear, you're going to have it come out the way you hear it. If you don't repeat it very often, then when you try to say it, it won't quite sound right. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take some phrases and we're going to translate them into English. So we just need to know what they are in English. I'm going to say them to you in French, and then I want you to say out loud, or you can even just think to yourself what you know they mean in English. So first one is, ma mère s'appelle Janine. Ma mère s'appelle Janine. You think to yourself, what does that mean in English? And what it means is, my mother's name is Janine. Ma mère s'appelle Janine. My mother's name is Janine. So notice it's the way we say it's slightly different, but it has the same meaning. How about the next one? Mon père s'appelle Luc. Mon père s'appelle Luc. Now you can repeat that after me too if you want extra practice with pronunciation. Mon père s'appelle Luc. My father's name is Luke. And as you can see, I've spelled father incorrectly. We're going to pretend that didn't happen. My father's name is Luke. Mon frère s'appelle Eric. Mon frère s'appelle Eric. My brother's name is Eric. My brother's name is Eric. Ma sœur s'appelle Caroline. Ma sœur s'appelle Caroline. My sister's name is Carolyn, or Caroline, depending on how you say it. I like Carolyn. Now let's try them the other way, from English to French. These are all sentences that you might use in your description of your family members. So we're going to do it the other way, from English to French. So the first one is, my mother's name is Janine. So think to yourself, how do I say that in French? And then say it out loud. I'm going to give you some time. If you need more time, just press pause. My mother's name is Janine. Ma mère s'appelle Janine. Ma mère s'appelle Janine. My father's name is Luke. My father's name is Luke. So say that out loud. Mon père s'appelle Luc. Mon père s'appelle Luc. Mon père s'appelle Luc. Notice my mother is ma mère, but my father is mon père. And it's because he's a guy. So we say mon. It's a masculine form of my. And ma is the feminine form of my. It has to match the person you're talking about. Next person. My brother's name is Eric. You might think for a second, okay, I'm going to use my. It's either going to be mon or ma. Eric's a guy, so ask yourself, are you going to say mon or are you going to say ma to start your sentence? You're right, you're going to say mon. Mon frère s'appelle Eric. Mon frère s'appelle Eric. My sister's name is Carolyn. Caroline in French. My sister's name is Carolyn. So think to yourself, am I going to say mon or ma because she's a girl. And then you just finish up the sentence. My sister's name is Carolyn. Ma sœur s'appelle Caroline. Ma sœur s'appelle Caroline. My sister's name is Carolyn. Okay, let's try some more from French to English, a different set of sentences. So we're going to do what we did first, right? We're going to take them from French to English. We're going to need to know our numbers to talk about age. I recommend you figure out how old everybody is before you start studying for the test so you can really know those numbers well. So I just picked some ages. The first one, il a 13 ans. Think to yourself, what is 13? And then what does il a 13 ans mean? The answer to that is he is 13 years old. Remember, you have to have the years old in French. You don't have to have it in English, but you have to say il a 13 ans. You have to have the ans at the end to make it age. Il a 13 ans. He is 13 years old. Let's try another one. Elle a 15 ans. Elle a 15 ans. So you can even count up if you need to. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, all the way till you get to 15. And don't forget the on. Elle a 15 ans. She is 15 years old. She is 15 years old. Notice we don't need the years old in English, but we do need it in French. Next one. Mon père a 43 ans. Mon père a 43 ans. Mon père a 43 ans. Super, mon père a 43 ans. My father is 43 years old. My father is 43 years old. Elle a 50 ans. Elle a 50 ans. You know, elle is she, right? So now we need to know how old is she? Elle a 50 ans. She is 50 years old. She's 50 years old. I think we're going to go the other way now. Yeah, we're going to say these same kinds of sentences about age, but this time we're going to have English and we'll have to put them into French. So we'll have to really practice our numbers because we don't know what number's next. The first one, my father is 30 years old. My father is 30 years old. My father is 30 years old. Mon père a 30 ans. So my father's a guy. He's going to be mon père. You're always going to have mon with père. Mon père a 30 ans. My father's 30 years old. My mother is 49. My mother is 49. My mother is 49. Ma mère a 49 ans. Ma mère a 49 ans. My brother is 12. Remember, you need the years old at the end in French. My brother is 12. My brother is 12. Mon frère a 12 ans. Mon frère a 12 ans. My sister is 19. My sister is 19. Ma sœur a 19 ans. We always have that on the end, right? Ma sœur a 19 ans. My sister is 19 years old. Just a few more. I am 14 years old. So now we're not starting with elle or il anymore. We're talking about I. I am 14 years old. J'ai 14 ans. J'ai 14 ans. I'm 14 years old. I am 15 years old. One of these might apply to you. I am 15 years old. J'ai 15 ans. J'ai 15 ans. So that j'ai means we're talking about I, j'ai. Not il a, not elle a, but j'ai. J'ai 15 ans. How about I'm 16 years old? Remember, you can look in your notes while we're practicing online. That's fine. It's only in a test that you can't look at your notes. I'm 16 years old. J'ai 16 ans. J'ai 16 ans. And the last one for age, I am 17 years old. And I think that covers all of you. I am 17 years old. Okay, it's j'ai 17 ans. J'ai 17 ans. Fantastic. The last thing we're going to practice is the nationalities because we want to say for each person what their nationality is. So one last set from English to French. Remember, when we're saying someone's nationality, we must remember to put an E at the end if the person is female. And when we add that E, we have to pronounce the consonant before it. So for example, my mother is French. See if you can write that one. My mother, so mon or ma for mother, you know it's going to be feminine, is French. Okay, the answer is ma mère est française. There's that silent E there, and the silent E means that the S has to be pronounced when it's someone who's female. Ma mère est française. The female version always has that Z consonant at the end. It's an S, it's a T, whatever it is. It's because of that silent E you pronounce it. Ma mère est française. How about my father is English? Mon père est anglais. Mon père est anglais. My brother is Canadian. Mon frère est canadien. Remember, you can always say he. You don't have to say my brother every time. You could say il est canadien. We know he, right? Il est canadien. He's a guy, so there's no extra E or anything on the end of that word canadien. My sister is American. Now, she is feminine, so we have to think about it. And we didn't necessarily have to say my sister. We could also say she. We could say elle, right? We know il and elle are he and she. My sister's American. Ma sœur est américaine. Ma sœur est américaine. There's an E on the end, so we have to pronounce the N. Américaine. And the last, we have two more. One is if you're a boy and you're saying, I am American. Notice that American is capitalized in English, but it is not capitalized in French. It's a lowercase a in French, you'll see in just a second. I am American. If I'm a boy, I'm going to say, je suis américain. Je suis américain. If I'm a girl, it's going to be je suis américaine, right? Same word, but now you have an E on the end, so you have to pronounce the N. Here it's américain. Here it's américaine. Américain, américaine. Excellent. So now you are able to study on your own for the test tomorrow. Now here are some suggestions on what you can do. One is use this video as much as you need to so that you can practice the vocabulary and feel really comfortable reading the words out loud because you're going to be reading your 3 paragraphs in the Flipgrid test. And you don't have to memorize it, but you need to be comfortable reading out loud. If you're stuttering or you're too shy or you don't know the word, then that's going to be a problem when I'm grading it. The second thing you can do is you can practice writing these words over and over till you can spell them correctly because spelling does count. So you need to make sure that you can spell the words you're writing. A third possibility, you can recite or read the paragraphs aloud to yourself until you know them, right? Recite them means not looking at the paper. Reading means looking at the paper. Sometimes going back and forth helps. Another thing is if you have a friend who's taking French who wants to practice with you, you can practice reading your work back and forth. Sometimes that helps to have somebody help you, and it's a little bit more fun at times than just sitting by yourself and studying because, it can get dull. All right, bonne chance means good luck. I know you don't need luck. I know you'll all do fine on the test when we have it. So the rest of our independent time today is to be spent practicing on Flipgrid. There is a Flipgrid. I am putting a Flipgrid. Yes, I'm putting a Flipgrid practice for you on Classroom, so you can go in there and practice. Remember, you can speak it and delete it, and you don't have to necessarily save every one that you do, and you can always delete the one if it's not good enough and you want to try another one. But be sure to leave one in there so I know that you did the work. And then you can practice all these other ways that I mentioned right here, the ways you can get ready for the test. Okay? So that is the end of our beautiful video. It takes me a second to turn it off. Au revoir.